Welcome back to MidPoint. Also, welcome back former Chief of Staff of the New York City Police Department, John Picciano. John, we talked a little bit before the break about fault and blame in this. Do we not have to back up, though, and at least say that some of the responsibility for what is happening here must fall to the cops themselves, the police departments, the fact that in many cases there are overreactions. There are cops caught tweeting racist statements. There are bad cops in this, and they are part and parcel part of the problem. Don't we have to admit that?
Well, I mean, every police department has, a few officers that make mistakes. And you want to call them rotten apples, you want to call them bad cops. I agree. And we've done such a much better job of weeding them out. Do I think they're to blame for this? Absolutely not. I think that the actions that they took in the Michael Brown case were justified.
Well, wait a minute. Let's go past Michael Brown a little bit. I want to go past Michael Brown and all the rest. But can we not say that this is part and parcel of the systemic problem that we have? Not just Michael Brown, not just Eric Garner, the Cleveland shooting, if you will, but so many others. It has been going on for a long time where there are bad cops out there who do stupid things that are known in the public. Social media certainly helps us know about them anymore. We see the videos, we see the tweets, but these are the people that need to be weeded out, and they're not being taken out of the system. Don't you think that that might be one of the things that people are a little bit angry about here, that they still have these bullet heads in the police departments?
Well, what I think is, if you look at all the contacts, and what I mean by contact is when a police officer engages with a civilian on the street. If you look at the millions of contacts per year around this country, it's a very, very minute portion of the policing out there that's having problems like that. But of course, the media brings it out, and rightfully so. There are cases that are outrageous. I mean, and they have to be dealt with, just like in any other business or anything else that goes on, whether it be Wall Street. When you have a problem, you have to deal with it. And the police department has done a much better job through the years in being more sensitive, having better community relations, and better training for the officers.
But to be very fair, John, I know you were Chief of Staff here. I'm sure you heard all these things when you were there. And I mean, as a kid, I remember hearing, I grew up in New York City, hearing about the cops need to be better. We need to do better with the cops. The cops need to work better with the community. I heard this decades ago. Why are we still here?
Well, I mean, you can only try. If the community doesn't buy in, if they always feel as if, it's their son or their daughter being arrested, and even a lot of times a mother and father just, even if the son was dealing with drugs or did commit a robbery, to them it's more of a personal issue. So that it's a deeper rooted problem, with economics and those kind of issues. When you have young kids who are looking up to drug dealers and they don't want to be a police officer or an FBI agent, they'd rather be selling drugs, and because that's what's around them. So it's a vicious cycle that has to be broken, and the way you break it is trying to figure out what can be done in the community to make their lives better, so they don't look up to a drug dealer as a hero or a mentor.
Then if we take that at its face value, then is it even possible then for the cop on the beat to create any sort of a difference in the community if he or she is constantly facing what is their systemic problems, if you will, of drugs, economics, health, whatever? Is it even possible to get through and change that from the cop's perspective?
It is. I mean, community policing works. I mean, the foot cop who's walking the street and has contact with the kids on their way to school and stuff like that. It's not easy, but it is a very helpful tool, and it has worked very well in New York City.
Then is that what we need to do, John? And I hate to interrupt you, but I'm short on time.
No.
But is that what we need to do then, is take cops, stop the cops from having to go after these penny-ante little crimes here and there, these stupid, ridiculous little things. As somebody said earlier, giving somebody a $400 ticket for going 7 miles over the speed limit. Stop this ridiculousness and get them back to policing and trying to keep law and order, the real law and order?
Well, I think that discretion should be used by police officers. I think that sometimes maybe they are a little aggressive, but I think overall it's because they always have to be on guard. And if you look at what happened to those two officers on Saturday, unfortunately, they had their guard down in a sense. They were sitting in a vehicle and had no idea what was going to happen to them. So it is a very difficult line to walk at times when you're pulling over a vehicle and you're dealing with traffic stops and just walking the street. You just don't know. and unfortunately their guard has to be up, and sometimes it comes off as maybe arrogance or aggressivity, So
two-way
it's
street,
something
though,
that
John,
you
isn't
have
it?
to work with.
Two-way street, cops and the people, right?
Yes, sir.
See, there you go. One way or another, I think that's what it's all going to boil down to, is it has to be that two-way street, or else we're just going to sit here spinning our wheels for another couple of decades, and unfortunately, 2 more officers are going to be murdered, as these 2 were, tragically. John, I want to thank you so much for taking time to join us, my friend. I look forward to the next time. I wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Sir.
All right,
take
care. Break, and we return with the need to shut down the source of the burgeoning war against cops. Some say it's the Obama administration. Some say it's the media. At 43 minutes after the hour, something lighter, a true reason for the season.